I haven't been this pleased to see John Cena since I was 16 years old, and I took my first road trip by myself outside of my home state of Ohio to Huntington, West Virginia to go see SmackDown Live on tour in 2003 feels right. And on this first time outing as a 16-year-old, I got the Word Life visor. I got the Word Life shirt. I even got the Word Life chain. Maybe it was 04. 03, 04. Regardless, happy to see John Cena when I arrived at the show. And I was so happy to see John Cena arrive here in Jackpot, because this so-called action comedy was not funny for almost half an hour until John Cena comes into the scene from the ceiling and saves Katie Kim, the character, and his character, Noel Cassidy, I think it is. He is the only bright spot within Jackpot, the Amazon original movie. So after the ad read and after the open rolls, I will talk about and currently critique Jackpot. Whether it's your first time here or you're a regular here at Mr. Super Oz, I just want to thank you for tuning in to the channel. It exists because I, Oz, from the channel Mr. Super Oz, I wrote a 68-page graphic novel called Everlasting Survivors. Volume 1 is called All Day Long. If you follow the link in the description of this video, you can get yourself hats, shirts, posters, all kinds of fun things. But most importantly, you can get the story itself. And the more people that pick up the story, the greater the chances are that there can be continued adventures with these heroes. If you could, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment, enjoy. Jackpot, it came out this year, 2024, ran 1 hour and 46 minutes. The lead character of Katie Kim, she's coming back to LA after being gone for some time because of her mother being ill. And when she first comes back, she's taking a bus ride, and an old lady is like, "Oh, I think I recognize you from such and such." And that's one of the reoccurring, not funny bits throughout. It does get a payoff when a man who runs a wax theater recognizes her for her real, the thing she actually did, which was being a child star of a commercial for, they call them spaghetti squares, so raviolis basically. And okay, so the bit paid off, I guess, but because the character is an actor or sees herself in that light, she pretends to be a cop on that initial bus ride, and she stands up to Adam Ray, who, great guy. He does a killer Joe Biden, as can be seen on Kill Tony, the show, and because I watched an episode where Shane Gillis was make-up to be Donald Trump and Adam Ray was make-up to be Joe Biden. Good stuff. But like I said, she pretends to be a cop to tell Adam Ray, the father character, who's talking to his wife on the phone about their kid not being prepped for this audition. She stands up to him as a cop and is like, "Oh, I'm going to take your kid because you're so bad at being a parent," or some such nonsense. I didn't get the verbiage, but that's okay. The fact is, she goes back to the old lady and she's like, you look young to be a cop," and that's when she has the whole "I'm an actor" conversation. None of that is funny. And furthermore, it establishes some things, but I don't really even find the person who's supposed to be our protagonist to be heroic. And so she goes to an Airbnb, she gets ripped off, not exactly ripped off, but like she falls into a trap. The Airbnb lied about what the place was like. She stays there anyway because, I don't know, reasons. She wakes up and there's sewage falling on her face. Disgusting. There's also sewage leaking onto her clothing. Disgusting. She calls up the person she is getting the Airbnb from, or whatever they called it, her, whatever, I don't know, the person who's host, that's what they call him, the host of the Airbnb. And this lady, she is so manipulative. Like I said, she lied about the Airbnb, but she also says, well, I'll rent you some of my clothes. And she's like, well, what's the going rate of clothes? And it's just, again, nothing is funny. So it takes nearly a half an hour. Katie Kim goes to an audition, makes a joke about them rebooting Barbie because every woman in the audition hallway, if you will, looks like they could be, a different Barbie doll. And so, whatever, it's fine, but it's not funny. Nothing really gets entertaining until, so she wins the lottery, because this is a dystopian future thing where in the year 2026, after stuff, the LA, the city of in California, introduces a lottery where if you can go until sundown without, or everyone who has a losing lottery ticket has the opportunity to kill the person with the winning lottery ticket, and if they do, they get the winning lotto. Is the theory of the show or movie. And it's been 4 years since this has been enacted, but in that 4-year period, Katie was taking care of her mother. They only watched Hallmark style movies and cooking shows is the excuse as to why she doesn't know. But again, everybody has a cell phone, so I don't even buy that explanation. But if you just let that go, if you let how she doesn't know that LA has this ludicrous lottery that does seem like it is very anti-human, I'll put it, because life is of no or little value, and so much so it seems like it's a depopulation scheme more than it is an actual money scheme. But anyway, if you just dismiss any of the logic behind it, the problem isn't really the concept, it's the execution. Because on the outside, before you enter into this Amazon original film, it says action comedy. Well, while there is pseudo action, because when Katie's name comes up as the lottery winner, she has to defend herself from everybody coming at her, all the Barbies, if you will. And then she hides out, and it turns out it's a room full of karate class people. Then they kick her through a wall, and she's got to fight off yoga students. And then the yoga students and the karate people come together to take out Katie. But that's when you enter. That's when you have Noel Cassidy enter, being John Cena. And ever since his even slight introduction, because when Katie's asleep and the sewage is falling on her face, you see an ad for his protection agency. He just seems like an earnest, upfront guy, which is the best role for John Cena, is being the earnest good guy. Because back in Fast and Furious 9, he started out as a bad guy, and while he did a fine job, when he became good guy in Fast and Furious 10, it was like, why weren't we doing this all along? Because John is just so much better at being the babyface. So much so that in that first half hour-ish without him, I found nothing to be of redeeming quality. Katie Kim, who is supposed to be our protagonist, just seemed like a bitter, unlikable human. But as soon as we get the introduction of Noel, he is that good person that you can get behind. And literally at one point, that period of time without John Cena, I really felt like this was going to be my first 0 out of 5 stars film in quite some time. I can't even remember the last 0 out of 5 stars movie I've had. But the more Katie stays with Noel, whether it be inside Machine Gun Kelly's panic room or inside of Lewis Protection Agency, a high quality version of what Noel is doing, run by the actor who plays Shang-Chi. I don't remember his name, but you know who I mean. So, no matter where Katie is with Noel, it seems like his goodness rubs off on her, which is great because by the time that we get to the finish, she is finally, or legitimately, an actual character to which feels like ought to live, because she does a monologue. Well, even before we get to the absolute finish where she does the monologue where she explains that she's willing to take her own life to protect Noel's, which infuriates Lewis. Even before we get there, we understand why that she struggled so long to get on the same page with Noel, and that's because when she was a child actor, her dad was, well, he was he was taking the money, and when she became 18 and she wanted to be an adult and take care of her own finances, he stole everything and abandoned her and her mother. And so when she reveals this to Noel, then he at least understands why she's been so cold and distrusting of him. And it's funny because she reveals this information to him right after he explains his past with Lewis, which is they were mercenaries, and when Noel realized that the people they were taking out weren't actual bad people, they were just people, then that's what led to them having a falling out. And even in the pre-finale fight, Noel, it gets revealed to him from Lewis that in the final, or in what would have been Noel's final mission with Lewis and the mercenary team, the one that Noel didn't go on because he had a change of heart, Lewis killed all of their team members to get the payday all to himself, and it just revealed or clarified that Noel really is the good person and Lewis really is a terrible person, which, you know, I had already picked up on from the first introduction to Lewis's character. And, I mean, honestly, picked up on from the first introduction of Noel's character as well. But yeah, the more Katie stayed around Noel, the very noble and unselfish human, the more noble and unselfish she got. So much so that Theo Vaughn's co-host, or buddy, I'll say, I think it's Bobby Lee, maybe? I'll pop up his picture, but he's doing some live streams, and at one point he was just like, there's almost no way that she can lose because Katie falls off the radar, if you will, and this gets the populace behind her. And so while there is a crowd of people who have losing lottery tickets trying to kill the lottery ticket winner to claim the winning ticket, all these people who don't have skin in the game are now on Katie's side, seeing her as a representation of the everyman. And with that finish, the supporting characters catch Katie with a sheet as she's falling after pulling a grenade pin and having Lewis blow up from his own grenade. And with the finish and the evolution of the Katie King character, along with the reveal of why she was so hard-hearted to begin with, I have to say, this doesn't get a 0 out of 5 stars like I thought it was going to. In the end, it is still a fail of a film. It is a 1 out of 5 stars. because had the movie said drama or dystopian science fiction or something other than action comedy, where I think, oh, we'll get action and comedy, then maybe I would have come into this with a different approach. But when I think that what I'm gonna get is laughs and all I get is what is even the right word? Disappointment throughout. Now, I do start laughing about that 30-minute mark when Noel pops in. But it shouldn't take 30 minutes for a comedy to do something funny. And every time that Noel is off screen or out of scene, it's a struggle to get behind the Katie character until the very end. And with that, like I said, the movie just failed to deliver what it was meant to do. But like I said, it was amusing to have this feeling once again where I'm like, John Cena, you are the man of the hour and the reason that I'm here and the thing that makes the product worth watching, which is so nostalgic given that you are the primary reason that I took that first road trip, made that wrestling trip all by myself, and then subsequently got lost going home from West Virginia to Ohio and had to call home from a gas station. But that's neither here nor there. That was just the funny thing about coming from nowhere and not even being in an era where GPS or cell phone GPS is an option. Didn't even have cell phone coverage. I used a telephone at a gas station to call home and figure out how to get home. But anyway, that's not a part of Jackpot the movie. Man, wouldn't it be nice if I won the jackpot after releasing the review for the movie Jackpot? Now, I will say this: if I do win, what is it at? 464 million right now, something like that. I don't think it'll necessarily be a video on the channel or a big announcement, but there will be signs, as they say, when the audio gets better, the lighting gets better. I kind of like the general setup, so regardless of monetary value, personal monetary value, I think the look will stay virtually the same. I like showing off the comic collection, like the action figures. Big fan of comic art, so that'll all probably remain the same. But lighting improvements, audio improvements, if those things just come out of nowhere, maybe Oz has come into some money. But speaking of coming, why don't you come back all week for trivia on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Alpha Entertainment Worldwide on Wednesdays, and fun long-form content on Fridays.